Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Ben Crossman, and everyone out there, how you doing? Hopefully you're doing well, and today's not going bad. It is the middle of the week, and well, hey, the second Wednesday of the month is a very special time here on the show because that is our regular schedule for Sandy Berger. That's right. She's a longtime correspondent and, of course, does everything for, really our consumer electronics expert, everything from cameras and phones and things like that. Although lately we have been really focusing on digital assistants, which I think, Sandy really has settled into that niche very well because they're getting more and more popular. Turns out that when a couple of the most powerful and richest companies in the world all want to compete in a new area, turns out there's going to be a lot of news and a lot of things that people should know about. So, today is going to be a bit about digital assistants, but also at the same time, it's we have a full schedule of a bunch of different topics. So everyone, again, welcome into the program. First things first, computeramerica.com. That's where you'll find everything, including the show notes, which will have, everything from, let's see, how do I put this? It will have everything from any links that we talk about, any articles that we mention, anything about Amazon or, any products, all of it. All of it will be in the show notes. That simple. Go check it out. Now, in the meantime, everyone, let's there are reviews, product reviews, there are articles and op-eds and things like that you can find at Computer America, and of course the live video feed if you feel like watching us instead of simply just listening to us. Although any way that you kind of get Computer America into your lives, that is perfect for us. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So, as I said before, today is, of course, Sandy Berger Day, and of course, she's the owner, operator, and of course, contributor to CompuKiss and many other publications. She's very knowledgeable, and of course, she likes to give her opinion, and she does so not maliciously, not in any kind of mean or overly praising way, but just, hey, here's what she thinks, and we definitely appreciate that. So, everyone, welcome back onto the show, Sandy Berger. Sandy, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Ben?
Doing well. And hey, I normally I talk about the weather, but the weather has been so picturesque here in North Carolina. I can't even complain. A few rain clouds here and there, but overall, I appreciate not living in Florida summer anymore. So. Yeah, things are going well here. So,
well, I'm in a different area in North Carolina than you are.
True.
And we have been having vicious storms every day in the late afternoon.
Really?
Lightning storms just coming through, and sometimes they're only 15 minutes, sometimes an hour, sometimes it rains all day. But the last week we've had nothing but water, and it sounds like you haven't gotten that at all.
Well, there was one thunderstorm that came out of nowhere, and this is actually going to segue very nicely into, I think, the topic that you have here. But I was the studio that we have here in North Carolina. It's a couple floors separated from kind of where we have our home, but at the same time, it's like I was. I'm pretty secluded because it's a sound studio, and I like to keep the sound out as I do this. A lightning bolt struck somewhere. I don't know what tree got it. There are times when lightning strikes trees and it just kills them slowly instead of actually knocking them over, making them explode. But the point is, the lightning struck somewhere really close, and even I heard it. I heard it very, very loudly, and I was like, "Wow, the house just exploded." That's the only thing that could have happened. Luckily, the house was not hit by lightning, but very, very real possibility that we could have been. It's scary. It's very destructive, and actually, like I said, kind of segues into our first, kind of talking point. Is that what you brought up? Is that hopefully you didn't have too close of a call with lightning yourself?
No, I didn't, but the area did. The whole area of Pinehurst, where I live, just kind of had lightning storms everywhere. And right now, sitting on my work table, I have two computers that got hit by lightning.
Mm.
And my son, who lives about a mile from me, got hit by lightning. And some of these, depending on where they hit and how close, they usually hit a tree near your house. And oh gosh, they can do a lot of devastation. Really, really bad. When you get all your electronics that you get so attached to using every day, and suddenly you don't have any TV, you don't have any internet. That's what's been happening to various people around me.
And I kind of take it for granted that whenever I had to deal with this when I was younger, my parents were the ones who had to kind of run around and do everything, kind of turn off things. I don't even know if it's turned off but still plugged into the wall, if that can cause problems, or if it's only a problem when it's actually turned on and drawing a current. I'm actually not sure what the proper procedure is for protecting your electronics from a lightning strike. And again, this is assuming it strikes your home and not actually your computer. But I know that we're probably going to talk about surge protectors and how to kind of protect these things from lightning strikes. Where did you want to start with this? Because there's a lot to cover.
Well, I want to answer your question.
Sure.
Really wasn't a question, but you said you don't know if it's plugged in and turned off, it can still be hit. Yes, it can. And I have just had a good example of that with the storm that passed through here last week. Basically, I still take care of I have a lot of computer customers, that call me when they need something. And I instruct all of them, when there's a lightning storm, go and unplug your units. Unplug your computer in particular. For some reason, computers are really, really touchy about that. Well, the gentleman he has three computers, started lightning. He went and unplugged two of them. And when he went to go to the third one, he wasn't even near it. Not only was the computer turned off, but there was a spark and a flash, and that did the computer in. So it was not turned on, and it still got hit. And one more thing, he had a surge protector.
He had okay, so obviously surge protector. There are everything from uninterruptible power supplies, and then there's your basic surge protector, and then there's the basic cord into the wall. So even through a surge protector,
that's right.
It's still fried. That's crazy, isn't that?
Yeah, it is. But that's how strong some of these storms have been. Surge protector is supposed to protect you up to a certain point, and some of them actually have insurance attached to it, so that if you've had something go out that was attached and you send back the unit, they'll pay you some money for your loss or something like that. But in any case, the ideal thing to do is to unplug it from the wall or unplug it from the surge protector, just because that's the only way you're going to be totally safe. If that lightning surge gets into your home electrical system, which can happen pretty easily, the only way to be truly safe is to unplug things.
And of course, I don't think anyone's going to run around their house and unplug every electronic. This is something that's at least with, like you said, with your computers. Maybe not your televisions and your toasters and your refrigerators, but at least with computers, this is you would definitely say that if you hear or at least see, I mean, kind of what is your rule of thumb for when
My
to
rule of
unplug?
thumb is when I start to hear the thunder, I
Mm-hmm.
will go and turn the computers off and then shut them down and then unplug them. The same with the printers. I will do that for printers too. Um, Now we have other electric equipment. In the case of my son just getting hit by lightning, his brand new oven went out
Ooh.
completely. So that was a very expensive oven. His internet connection went out. But for the most part, your internet provider protects your equipment. Your equipment is rented, like we have Spectrum here. Okay, so the unit itself, the modem itself, is covered by them, and they'll come out and replace it, unless you have your own modem, in which case you
Yeah.
have to
I
replace it.
I'm
Hmm.
not going to say who we have here because I rag on them on the show a lot. But yeah, we actually had to buy our own modem, so it wouldn't be covered by that. But luckily, we're still renting the modem from them because they won't let us not rent it. So, but yeah, so
Well,
with that being
it
said,
has its minuses because you're paying a monthly fee, which winds up being more than the cost of the modem. On the other hand, you're buying a little bit of insurance if you look at it that way.
well, and that's just the thing that I really got ticked off last was that I paid for my own modem and they
Uh-huh.
won't let me not pay to rent theirs. Like I have to rent it. It's just rolled into the
Uh,
package, even if
wow.
I even which it currently is sitting at a box collecting dust.
Oh.
There's nothing I can do. But that aside, with the whole thing there, I know that through a lot of power companies, and we have one here in North Carolina. Uh, they have whole home surge protection, which I know insures devices, which I'm sure would include computers and things like that. Maybe that's something that people could look into as well.
Yes, that is something people should look into. But when they do look into that, just be sure that they cover you and what the coverage is and what will happen if your house really does get hit and your refrigerator and stove and everything goes out. So now I've had very good luck with whole house surge protectors. I have one on my home.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only been one time that I've had a call that somebody who had a whole house surge protector got hit. So,
Not bad.
you're never 100% sure, but insurance is good.
Definitely, definitely. So let's say someone has taken none of this to heart and they are using their computer. Hopefully, again, we're assuming no bodily damage, so let's just ignore that aspect of it. Their computer is hit by lightning. Uh, and I'm assuming that this would do damage to obviously maybe your power supply unit for your computer, if it's your motherboard. You have a topic here about how to look at your hard drives and kind of how to recover from
Right.
this.
Yeah, because people call me all the time, and I usually do it for them. I will go and pick up the computer and look at it and see if I can retrieve anything. But it is really not that difficult with today's technology to do it yourself. Now, previously, when you wanted to look, all right, let me back up a minute
Mm-hmm.
first. Yes, the surge like that, a lightning surge, will hit the power supply first, then it will hit the motherboard, and then it will hit the hard drive. A bad surge will get all three at once. In the units that we have today, like laptops and all-in-ones, if your motherboard goes out, the computer you have to replace anyway. You can't even really replace the power supply. So if your all-in-one or your laptop gets hit, you're in trouble. And maybe it's 50-50 depending on, the power of the lightning surge and all that, whether your hard drive got hit or not.
Right?
Used to be, Ben, with the old computers, IDE drives and all that, you had to get an enclosure to put the hard drive in. You had to take it out of the computer, put it in this enclosure. It was very difficult to actually get the data off of that hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
But today, it's amazingly easy. With SATA drives, which are in pretty much all, as far as I know, all in one computers and laptops.
Mm-hmm.
You go over to your local Best Buy or wherever you do your equipment purchasing, and just buy a laptop, or they call it laptop hard disk drive enclosure. They call it laptop, but it's the same one used in an all-in-one. So say you have an all-in-one and you want to take that hard drive out and see if it's been hit.
Hmm.
First thing you got to do is open the case. There's usually no instructions on doing that, but it's also usually a clamshell case that you have to pry open. And once you get that out off, the cover off, and you see the hard drive, you take the hard drive out and basically put it into this little enclosure. Looks like a portable hard drive,
Hmm.
and that's it. Plug it in. They give you a plug with it. You get take the cable, put the cable in one end in the enclosure, and the other into your USB drive. And if there's anything on that hard drive, you're going to see it right on your desktop computer.
And of course, by then you can, pull it off or,
That's right.
transfer any data that you need.
Right.
You made that sound very simple, and obviously that works. That would work with SSD and traditional hard drives, things like that. Just anything that would normally be in a computer, you can use, transferred over. Like there's
Right.
no there's really no caveats to the procedure you just outlined.
It's really straightforward. When I say, is it simple? No, because just sometimes just getting the hard drive out of the computer, you might need a special screwdriver, or you're in a very cramped environment. So depending on how they put it in there, you've got to look for the screws and how to get it out.
Mm.
But that's about the hardest part about this, which used to be, 10 or 15 years ago when I was repairing and building computers. It was difficult. It was very difficult to get that drive out. So I'm not encouraging everybody to do that. Certainly, if your computer's gotten hit by lightning, find somebody to take it to. But if you want to do it, want to open it yourself, you can do that. Now, the only caveat here
Hmm.
is that the all-in-one computers are easier to open up than they are to put back together.
Yeah, I've heard that about a lot of phones and all-in-ones and tablets and things like that. Is that they are put together, and I don't know if it's a cost-saving measure or some kind of planned obsolescence, but they're put together with glue instead of screws. They're put together with plastic instead of metal. They're meant to be put together once and then not really taken apart.
Right. And if you do take it apart, you might have trouble getting it back together again. In a case where something's like an all-in-one has gotten hit by lightning, you're not really going to want to put it back together again, because you're better off to just go out and buy a new computer. The important thing is the data that you might
Yeah.
have had on that computer that you didn't back up like you should have. Um, and so that's the important thing, not so much the computer anymore.
Yeah, and of course, I was just thinking, how would you then recover the computer itself? And it would be a whole bunch of, everything from basically checking the motherboard and then checking each individual component. But overall, I mean, I think you're right. If the data is off of your computer, that's the hard part. Everything
Right.
else is just pretty replaceable.
Right. And after that, if you're really technically inclined, you can troubleshoot the various parts. But in a laptop or an all in one computer, most everything is integrated into the motherboard.
Yeah.
So even if the power supply in a desktop computer, the power supply is very easy to replace. But in one of these other computers, it's not that easy because you have to replace the whole motherboard in cases.
Yeah, it's always just disappointing when you realize, oh, it's just the motherboard, and then you realize, oh, it's the motherboard, where it's everything that makes everything communicate with one another. It's the entire brains of the operation. So
Right.
makes sense. So obviously, let's say you have all this, and to again prevent this from ever happening again, once you have recovered from this, there are any number of things, especially if we're just talking about hard drives, backups. I mean, if you had a backup, would you even go through everything that you just outlined? If you had a backup of your, or at least an image of your hard drive.
If you had a current one, and that's the problem with most people. Their backups are not necessarily current. They're not keeping them up. Oh, I forgot to do it last month, that sort of thing. Now, there are times when you keep a backup going constantly, but not too many people do that today. They should, but they don't. So So that's the point. If you do lose data because you don't have a backup, that's when you're getting into the side the computer and all that sort of thing.
Right, and of course, Fort in the chat room mentioned that he's been making backups all weekend, and I'll have to be honest with you, he is the exception because we've been saying make a backup. I've been saying it for as long as I've been on the show. Craig's been saying it for as long as he did the show for 28 years or so, and we
Right.
just like you still get calls from your customers saying, hey, how do I recover my data? We are seeing it more and more. So obviously, a backup would prevent everything from lightning strike to fire to home disaster to anything, even just kind of human stupidity. So. With that being said, so that's how you kind of recover from it, and then of course, Surge Protector. And you mentioned Surge Protector. I'm actually one step back, way to the beginning. Um, Surge protectors are pretty cheap nowadays. You can get the, kind of plug it once into the
Right.
wall and it splits into 5 or 6 different outlet plugs.
Right.
They're pretty affordable, $10, whatever they are. Uh, what do you know if he had an uninterruptible power supply, which is this big thing? It's usually $70, $80, $100, and they will keep whatever is plugged into them on. Uh, that kind of draws his power. Like, I can assume that if it was hit by lightning, the UPS might have died, but maybe the computer would have been safe, or
That's usually the case with the UPS, yes. But most people don't want to invest that much money into something just for one computer. Um, However, I think that you can take a regular strip power supply and it can be adequate. The things to look for is number one on the package, does it cover lightning strikes?
right.
Um, and number two, to make sure you get a surge protector. People go out and look at a strip of outlets, which cost $5 or $10, and it's just a strip of outlets. That is not a surge protector. It has to have surge protection built in, and actually, one time, and this was years and years ago, maybe 20 years ago, I write a column in the local paper every week on computers and technology.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote about how important it was to have a surge protector because it was lightning time of the year and all that sort of thing. And, when you write articles for other people, lots of times you don't get to choose the head, you don't get to choose the title, they
Right.
choose that. And when the article came out, somebody had chosen um, get a strip outlet to protect your computer. That was the
Eh,
title of my article, in which I said, don't get a strip out of outlets. But in any case, there is a
it,
huge
it's
difference
it's
between those
almost
two
like
things.
they had like the quotation marks and dot 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 get a strip of outlets instead of like the dot dot dot
Right.
just omitted the
Right.
don't.
Right.
So obviously context matters, and I will say that cyberpower, they have, I believe it's who does the UPSs. They've been working with us for a number of years, and we have some reviews up on the website about them. But I will say to everyone who has maybe thinking that they don't want one or they don't need one, the only thing that I will kind of advocate for when it comes to uninterruptible power supply. First off, if your power goes out, not even speaking to lightning strike at this point, but if it goes out, it gives you time to properly shut off, which is great. The other part, which I don't think people realize, is that if you have an uninterruptible power supply on your Wi-Fi router, then your internet, your Wi-Fi, and your internet in general, and of course you have to plug your modem in too, your internet stays on even when your power goes out. So that gives you, hopefully, if the power goes out for 5 minutes and you have one on your computer and on your modem router, you never stop working. It'll come back on and you're good to go.
Right. Right.
Or you can shut them
And
both
one
down.
thing one thing that I also want to state to people, because a lot of people don't know this fact. The fact is, when your power goes off, that's not when a surge comes in. When the surge comes in, not from lightning, but just through your electrical wires, a surge can come when the power goes back on.
Mm,
So they've put brand new equipment on and they're turning it back on, and your house might be the first one to come on and might get a surge of power that's then going to travel down the line. So when your power does go off, still go around, unplug everything, and don't plug it back in until the power is back.
All right. Yeah. I think we'll go ahead and leave that there. Obviously, that's easier for tablets and laptops and the like. And of
Right,
course, I'm sure that you would advocate that for any charging cell phones or tablets. Unplug those as well.
right.
Okay. So with that being said, very very good advice, and I'm sure that PC recovery, if it were easy, if it were if every situation were do it yourself, then computer shops around the country would be out of business. But there's always professionals there, or hey, the entrepreneurial spirit to do it yourself. Now,
Right.
with that being said, our next topic that you have lined up here, and this is one that I don't know if I should feel happy or sad about, but we have not talked at all about it on Computer America, like one iota. So this will be the first time that we're talking about any information about Amazon Prime Day. And Sandy, if you want to give us a quick outline of what Amazon Prime Day, kind of historically is. I know what Amazon advertises and what they try to set it up as, but just kind of in general, what is, why should people pay attention to Prime Day?
Well, Prime Day is a day that Amazon chooses. It's usually at this time of year. Um, the historically, it's a single day where Amazon puts online all of their best prices, so they say, for various objects, and especially for Amazon products like the Amazon Echoes and that sort of thing. Those are really discounted usually on Prime Day. Now, Prime Day has been going on for several years, and every year it gets bigger and bigger. So this year, Prime Day is actually 2 days. It's July 15th and 16th. Starts on the 15th at midnight Pacific time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it goes through the 16th to midnight Pacific time. So for those 2 days, Amazon has a whole bunch of things that they put on sale. And this year, they're having other things as well. They're having pre-prime. I guess they're calling it pre-prime. So in other words, today, which is a couple days before the prime days, they are actually having their sales begin. And the kickoff is tonight at, I think it's 10 o'clock Eastern Time. There's a huge concert with Taylor Swift that is only for Prime customers. So let's just go back a minute and talk about Prime customers.
Sure.
It used to be $99 a year for a long, long time.
I can just assure you that about 2 weeks ago, we renewed our membership, and it is not.
Right. Last June, they went up to $119, which is what, 20% increase?
Yeah.
That's a huge increase. But they are still giving you quite a few things extras for that. Not only do you get free shipping, but you get a lot of extra things that's what I wanted to talk about today, because people don't really realize all the things you get with a Prime membership.
Yeah, and I think that's I saw a breakdown and talking about if people buy Amazon Prime strictly for the shipping, actually it doesn't really work out. Like the economics of it all, you're actually giving money to Amazon and you're not getting enough back. But if you use any, and I mean like really any or minimal amounts of the extras that I think we're about to talk about here, you actually do get your money's worth. It's just if you have Amazon Prime just for the 2 day shipping, you'll actually save money if you kind of don't renew. But hey, there's a lot of really interesting perks that. Who knew a company that was valued at $1 trillion would have partnerships all over the tech space? So there's a lot. There's a lot you can get with an Amazon Prime membership.
There are a lot of things, not only that you can get, but that people don't take advantage of or don't know about. Amazon has over 100 million Prime subscribers. Wow, I'm
That
totally amazed by that.
100
Um,
million.
hmm
That's crazy.
Yeah, isn't that a lot? But they have a lot of things that you can get. Now, the shipping is, of course, number one.
Hmm.
As you said, you'd have to do a lot of shipping to
Yeah.
make it worth your while for $119 a year. But not only do they have that, but they now have 1 day shipping. Okay, so I ordered something the other day and it came in 1 day. I didn't ask for it. I didn't say I need this tomorrow or anything like
Well,
that.
yeah.
The default shipping was 1 day instead of 2 days.
So I think that Amazon, and sorry to interrupt you there, but I think Amazon, that was their, kind of pledge for this year, was to reduce 2 day to 1 day shipping. And in certain places, if you're close to a distribution center, or if you're in a major city like, I don't know, Austin, Texas, or New York City, or Seattle, Washington, they want to get same day delivery off the ground as well. So for a lot of people, 2 days is going to turn into 1 day, and 1 day is going to turn into same day delivery.
Right. And it already is, like you say, in big cities. Neither of us are in a huge
Now,
city that we can take advantage of that. But the other thing that's really great with the Prime
oh, actually,
is
Sandy,
the.
with
Go ahead.
before you get into the next point, the music just started playing in the background. We're gonna go to commercial break, so we'll save it there, everyone. I think outlining the Amazon Prime membership is actually a really good idea, because if you haven't been paying attention month to month, they add things all the time. So everyone, will be right back. More Sandy Berger, Computkiss.com if you want to check out her writing, or ComputerAmerica.com if you like to check out more of our show. Everyone, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-215-4461. 800-215-4461. 800-215-4461. That's 800-215-4461.
We are all Brother Wolf. 10 years ago, a group of locals banded together to create positive change. We took animals into our homes, held adoption events at local retailers, and talked to the community about our mission to help build a no-kill Asheville. A decade later, we have achieved so many victories for animals in need. There's been so much progress, yet there's still so much to do. As part of our year-long celebration, we encourage you to become a member of our special Compassionate Circle program. With a monthly donation of $10 or more, you will have behind-the-scenes access to the work we are doing at Brother Wolf. Our goal is to reach 1,000 members because we receive no government funding. Working together, we can help build and sustain no-kill communities. Learn more at compassionatecircle.bwar.org. We are a 501c3 tax-deductible organization.
And welcome back to the Computer America Show. It is 32 minutes past the hour, and the mute button was on. Everyone, welcome back to the program. If you missed any part of the show today so far, and you'd like to hear Sandy Berger or myself, go back and pay attention to something, or if you just like to, take us on your commute or something, then, of course, wherever podcasts are heard, simply search Computer America, and we should pop right up. Now, with that being said, we continue on. Sandy Berger, our consumer electronics expert. And hey, what is more consumer electronics than consumer Amazon and Amazon Prime? We're talking about Amazon Prime right now, and how you can get really, kind of get your money's worth. Because as we said before, if you're just in it for the shipping, which I think is what a lot of people first subscribe to Amazon Prime for, odds are, unless you do, I think it's something like 2 or 3 shipments a week, you're not getting your money's worth. So with that being said, there are a number of other benefits, and Sandy, you were about to get into that before we went to break, so please continue.
Right. Well, the biggest one is the Amazon Video, which gets bigger and bigger every week. It seems they have new things. Now, not every video is free, but a lot of the videos are free, and all the original content on Amazon is free. And they had the Magnificent Mrs. Maisel and some really great series on, and great movies as well. So it is definitely worth it because most places are charging, like HBO is what, $15 a month?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to add HBO for $15 a month, that's going to be more than what you pay for the Amazon, and you're still getting the free shipping.
Right.
Um,
So my only well, and two things I want to point out here. We'll start with the positive first. If people are wondering about the quality, is it just filler? Is it fluff? Amazon, as well as Netflix and Hulu and HBO, they all go to Cannes Film Festival. They all go to all these film festivals, and they all essentially bid at like an auction to see who gets the rights to have these things, be it a major movie studio or be it Netflix. And yeah, Amazon has been making a lot of purchases lately at those events, and some of the best movies of the year have been exclusive to Amazon. So they have some good stuff. It's just my only gripe, which to transition to my negative, I have been on there. It's been a couple of months, but they do a really bad job compared to Netflix for showing you content, showing you what's free and what's not free, and just helping you navigate. I feel like they're purposefully trying to obscure just how much content they have and just trying to make it look beefier. But at the same time, I wish I could just see what was available and really easily navigate the content because it's not the most user friendly.
right. And I agree with you. Netflix and Roku both have a better screen implementation.
Yeah.
So the screen on and when Amazon comes on is kind of crowded and a little bit jumbled. It is not difficult to work with, especially if you have a Fire TV or an Amazon device that you can use with your voice. Then it's easier to find things. But I agree with you. It could be better, and I'm assuming at some point in time they're going to make it better. Like you said, they go to the festivals and they all veer for the best content and all
Mm-hmm.
that. So it's constantly changing. However, the Amazon video content has been, I think, pretty stable in that it's very, very good.
Yeah.
And they have 4K. Now, that's something that comes automatically with Amazon. Where on Netflix, if you want core 4K transmissions, you have to pay a couple dollars more a month. Also, Amazon has been fighting with Google for a long, long time, as you might know. They didn't used to handle each other's products, and there's all
Yeah.
sorts of things going on. But they just announced, I think it was last week or so, that now you can get Amazon Prime on Chromecast devices. Now, this is a really big thing because for years you had to, on the Fire TVs, or Fire Sticks, you had to actually go to a browser to get YouTube or to get Amazon, so they've changed that. So now you can get YouTube and Amazon on Chromecast, and you can get everything vice versa. So it works very well.
Makes perfect sense. Of course, hey, it's just another perk that, like you said, Amazon Prime, you get it for free. Why not take advantage of it? And do you know if they? You mentioned you can get it for Chromecast now. I have not tried this lately or really ever. Streaming to mobile devices, I'm assuming that works wonderfully as well because I know Netflix does really well with that kind of thing. So
Yeah, no problem. Just like Amazon is just like Netflix, where you can stream it to all these different places, and it works very well. And now, of course, it's on all the devices that you can purchase, so that's even better.
makes sense. Makes sense. So that's one perk. Let's see. I don't know if you were going to include this. I will say that just that was the one that popped into your head. One that popped into my head immediately was I don't shop there enough, but maybe in the future, if you go to Whole Foods and you are a Prime member because Amazon purchased Whole Foods. Okay, so I know that they're eco-friendly and they're sustainably farmed and it's better for the environment or whatever line it is that they feed you. Amazon Prime makes some of those items a price tolerable, I guess. It makes the prices, instead of paying $18 a pound for something, you're paying $9.99 a pound, which is more in line with what you would normally pay. So hey, you get perks for shopping at Whole Foods.
That's right. I don't have a Whole Foods near me that I can shop at, but if you do, remember with the Prime Days coming up, I think they're giving a $10 coupon off $50 at Whole Foods or something like that.
Really?
So check that out. That will be only on the Prime Days that'll be allowed, but it's still a good deal. And Amazon is getting into more and more, not just with Whole Foods, but more and more of their own products. So they already have something called Happy Belly, which has mustards and vinegars and um, vitamins, I believe, and stuff like that. And they have like hundreds of people that do their own branding for them. So, if you go to Costco and you get a Kirkland product,
Mm-hmm.
they're pretty good.
Right.
Kirkland products are pretty good. And the Amazon Element products are pretty good too.
Yeah.
Those are especially in the medicine area, like aspirins and things like that. You can get some very good prices on Amazon
Yeah.
for their own products.
For sure, and also to kind of keep it in line with Whole Foods and medicines and things like that. They also have Pantry, which we've tried a couple of times. We'll probably set one up, but Amazon Pantry, that's another good perk of Amazon Prime.
Right. And Amazon Pantry, they've just changed recently. Previously, you had to, excuse me, you had to pay $4.99 a month extra to use it. But now you don't have to do that anymore. And Amazon, and you had to fill up a whole box from the
Yeah.
Prime Pantry. You don't have to do that now. If you pay more, let's see, Amazon Pantry is $25 is the minimum order. But if you order more than $25 worth, then you can get free shipping and no extra cost.
Right.
And this is made for items that are wouldn't normally be on Amazon because they're household products, non-bulk groceries, that sort of thing, that you don't have to buy huge amounts of like you do at Costco. You don't have to buy toilet paper, 50 rolls or something like that. Um, so the Prime Pantry is now a good deal too.
Yeah, and of course it's. I think you also save money if you, let's say you guarantee that you need. Hopefully you need. Let's say toilet paper every month. Then you could set that up as a subscription, and you save more money like that. They really have it down to a science where they see a need and they realize, hey, we can ship stuff directly to your door. What are people going to need on a regular basis? And hey, be it dog food, be it paper towels, they'll get you covered. So yeah.
And one thing, like you just said, that they look at what people need or what people want. The Amazon Elements, which is their private label offerings, they come with a special code on there that you can scan using your Amazon app on your cell phone. You'll see where every ingredient in the product came from.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, which is really cool. I think that's something that Amazon is realizing people want to know exactly what they're getting. And so they've just recently added that. I have not tried it yet, but it sounds like a great idea, especially for people who want to know, is this organic? Is this where did it come from? What's in it?
Right.
So I think that's a nice feature too.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, did you have a next, kind of Amazon Prime perk, I guess, you wanted to discuss?
I do. One of my favorite perks is Prime Reading. I don't know if you read a lot on digital books or on Amazon.
Unfortunately, I'm still killing trees to read my books. So.
Oh, well, we
yeah.
got to get you out of that. Although I still shop, there's a bookstore here in town, and I still shop there. I do like to support local things, and I don't want the bookstores to all go away.
Mm-hmm.
But I read a lot of things digitally, and Prime Reading is a perk that most people don't know about. You can borrow up to 10 titles at one time
Mm-hmm.
from a certain selection of Kindle books. But it's not just books, it's magazines, audible narrations, comic books, all sorts of things on Prime Reading. And basically, every month, if you've got certain magazines that you like every month, you can go in and swap them out every month. So you can take 10 out at a time, but if you reach 10, Amazon will just say, well, return something before you take another one. And it's like a massive lending library. And there are some really good things in Prime Reading that you can add.
Very, very cool. And by the way, I definitely want to give a shout out to actual libraries, which I think will let you do about the same thing. Where, of course, the 10 from Amazon. If if you have Amazon Prime, definitely do that. And then further reading, your local library should actually. I think they let you rent or at least check out ebooks as well. So
Right, they
yeah.
do. And as much as I like Amazon for certain things, I support my local stores. I
Hmm.
really want to keep supporting my local stores, so I'll do a lot of shopping there too.
Right.
And that I think people should
Did you?
realize
Yeah.
that that's putting more money back into their local economies. So please shop at Amazon, but shop locally as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, I did want to bring up one thing because you brought up ebooks, and there was a story about a week ago about Microsoft shutting down their ebook reading application and essentially giving deleting everyone's ebooks and then giving everyone a refund, luckily. But yeah, I mean, has that ever happened to you where you've bought a book on your e-reader, either through Amazon or Barnes Noble or something like that, and they have later taken it away, even if they give you a refund, they've later taken it away? Has that ever happened to you?
It has never happened to me. I only know of one instance on Amazon, which was Animal Farm or something like that.
Hmm.
That happened, and they took it off, and then they put it back on. Um, So that is possible, but for the most part, when you buy a digital book, you have that book and you have it forever, hopefully.
Hopefully.
So
Yeah, for sure. So, and of course, let's see, and Amazon still has their Kindle. Well, yeah, Kindle's Amazon. They still have their Kindle e-readers, right? Like I don't think they've come out with like a new one. They've just like kind of minor upgrades since we last talked about
they
them.
they do. They have one called Oasis, which is pretty expensive. That's their high end.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that I use and the one that I think is the best is the Paperwhite.
Mm-hmm.
The first version of Paperwhite was not very good, but now they're on the third or fourth version, and it's excellent. You can read it in the bright sunlight. You can read it in bed at night. The It's easier on your eyes, and they do have for the Prime Days. They're having already specials on the Paperwhite, where you get a Paperwhite with, say, headphones or something like that. Because the one thing that they have added is Bluetooth. They added Bluetooth to the newest Paperwhites,
Mm,
and so you can listen to Audible books with headphones on. They've also made them waterproof, which they didn't used to be. So when I went to Hawaii last month, I took mine to the beach without any thought of worry about getting it wet. So I think that was a nice thing that they've added.
for sure, for sure. So, and of course, I think Amazon and Audible have some kind of relationship with one another. So
Amazon owns Audible.
that's
Yes.
that's quite the relationship then. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and again for Prime Day, if you're not if you're already an Audible subscriber, it doesn't pertain to you. But for new subscribers, there are special offers that are very good for you to try Audible.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and hey, why don't we go ahead and transition this a little bit to to the hardware, because if I believe a lot of the hardware that Amazon sells obviously becomes much better, or at least has a lot more have a lot more features. There we go. If you are an Amazon Prime member. And like I said way at the beginning of the show, you have really fallen into the niche of our personal assistant, digital assistant expert here on the show when it comes to Google and Amazon, to a lesser extent Apple with Siri and Cortana and things like that. But yeah, let's talk about Amazon and the hardware that they're kind of offering. Yeah.
Well, Amazon Music is one big thing on their hardware. So if you're buying an Alexa or an Echo, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
you're buying that to play music. Amazon Music comes with your Prime membership, and it's free access to about 2 million songs. They do not have every song. They have a good selection, but not a comprehensive selection.
Mm.
If you want their full Music Unlimited, it's an additional $7.99 a month for Prime members. And that gives you like 50 million songs. So that has just about everything.
Not bad.
Um, the other thing you can do on Amazon Echoes is you can have the Echo read the book to you. And now a lot of books come where they can be read with the voice of the Lexi, I have to say, because my Alexa will go
Right.
off here. Um, so they'll read in her voice, but if you subscribe to and buy that book from Amazon, then you can hear it in the author's voice or whoever is reading the book, which is much better and more emphatic.
Hmm.
One thing I did want to say, going back to just digital books,
Sure.
and a big perk that a lot of people don't know about is called First Reads. You sign up for this at Amazon, and basically every month at the beginning of the month, they give you one and sometimes even two books for free. These are books that have not yet come out. They're brand new. They're coming out in the next couple days, next couple weeks, and you can get them for free, and you download it to your device, and it just is there for you. You own it. It's not something that you rent. So I've had first reads books that I've chosen a year ago, and I haven't had time to read it yet. But the idea is, of course, that you will read it right away and realize that this is a new author and he or she is really great. And sometimes it's to get you involved in a series, but
Mm.
not always. In other words, they'll offer you the first book of the series, and then when the next books come out, Amazon is expecting you'll go back and maybe buy the same author. So
Makes
it
sense.
benefits them, but it's a true big benefit for the end user.
Yeah, that's definitely a scheme that I can see working. I As much as I value the New York Times bestsellers list, I feel like with the advent, just kind of like TV ratings and things like that, with the advent of the internet and how people actually consume their data, consume their content. I think that things like Arbitron ratings and things like a New York Times bestsellers list, they're a little dated. So I can see where First Reads, kind of shirks that a little bit and says, hey, regardless if it's the bestseller or not, you'll probably still want to read this. Check this out. So
That's right.
I get that.
And Amazon also has their own list of the top 10 books or the top 20 books. So you can see what's selling on Amazon. It's just like you can do at the New York Times. So
Right.
you can compare, and they'll give you, of course, ideas on what kind of books you'll like. They also own Goodreads. Now, Goodreads is a place where a lot of authors go, and you can rate the books, and you can find friends who
Oh
have the
yeah.
same taste in books as you have.
I've used their service a number of times without even realizing. Like you said, Goodreads, and it's one of those that like you look up a certain book, and eventually Goodreads will pop up, kind of like when you search certain topics and like the Wikipedia article comes up, the Goodreads page will come up with it and good reviews and things like that. So I didn't know that they own that. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, but they don't. I don't think they advertise the connection there as much as they do the connection with Audible.
Right, right, for sure. So, yeah, we are running short on time. Let's talk about some of these other ones. Amazon Key, if I'm not mistaken, that was a service that freaked everyone out, and that was a service that let Amazon, essentially couriers, drop off packages within your home, within your garage. Is that the same service, or am I
That's the
mistaken?
same service. It's still there. It's still going. I don't know how many people are using it, but it also comes. You buy the package of the key and a camera,
Mm-hmm.
and the camera, of course, shows you what the delivery man is doing, so you can't go through your whole house or whatever. They now also have a key for the garage. Um, I don't really care for either of them, but I
Right.
can understand how it's important. One other thing that they've started. At Whole Foods and other stores as well, you can use an Amazon locker. So you can have your package sent to a locker. When it comes in, Amazon sends you the code. You go down to the store where your locker is, open it up and get your package. Now, I can see where that's very beneficial if you live in an area that you don't have a secure place for them to drop packages, or that there's a lot of theft in the area. Um, One thing that I've just noticed at my local Kohl's
Hmm.
is that you can now return packages, or send packages back to Amazon at Kohl's.
Yeah.
And that's amazing to me. But I guess Kohl's is getting more traffic into the
I
stores,
yeah.
and they don't charge for the return. So if you buy something from Amazon and you don't want to go to the UPS store or to the post office to mail it back, you can just go to Kohl's, and I guess there's going to be more stores. Uh,
I'm betting things like Bed Bath and Beyond are also going to do it as well. And of course the hope there is that even though that's Kohl's or one of these other stores, you didn't buy the product from them. Hey, if you're at the store and you're returning, potentially if you're, let's say, returning some sheets that you bought, hey, you're at Kohl's, so why not go shopping for something?
so
It's
if you didn't like the Amazon treats, you can buy them at Kohl's.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I guess that's the hope. And of course, for Amazon, they are notorious about not really having any physical buildings other than their distribution centers. So, yeah, Amazon wants to be, I guess, more physical, but at the same time, everywhere as well. So, with that being said, Prime Wardrobe, this was a feature of, if you can go ahead and correct me, Amazon Show, I think.
No, this is actually something Amazon, that was called the Amazon Look.
Yeah,
But
okay.
this is
I'm sorry.
something that Amazon has just added recently. You can pick any two clothing items that are part of this Prime wardrobe.
Okay.
They send them to you. You have 7 days to try them on, check out what you want to buy. It's free to return anything you don't want to purchase. The order comes with a resealable box and prepaid return label. So you just send it back. If you don't like it, you don't pay for it. So that's a new thing. One other thing, I know we're running short on time.
Go for it.
Are you familiar with Amazon Smile?
Yes, we definitely
Okay.
advocate that, but please explain.
Okay, so Amazon Smile, you shop and buy and give to your favorite registered charity at the same time. So anything you buy at Amazon Smile, your charity will get 0.5%, half a percent.
Yeah,
But Amazon says that this really adds up because they say they have sent out $100 million on Amazon Smile orders to date.
yeah, and of course for the individual out there who may be considering it, it really the only thing that changes is up in the address bar. It will go from Amazon.com to smile.amazon.com, I think.
Yes.
And when that happens, like obviously at our at a mid break, we play commercials. One of our commercials is for Brother Wolf Animal Rescue, and they're one of the eligible charities on smile.amazon.com. And we tend to just because like you said, I don't know how much half a percentage really makes, but we tend to kind of swap between Brother Wolf and the Arbor Day Foundation, kind of back and forth. Just whenever it strikes our fancies, we, kind of spread the love. But yeah, it adds no extra effort, and you get to donate just a little bit. So.
Well, it's not really extra effort, but you do have to go to Amazon Smile rather than just the Amazon website. So you can bookmark Amazon Smile and always go there.
I think that there are add-ons for Chrome and Firefox that will automatically take you to the Smile version
Perfect.
of the website. So if you're extremely forgetful or very, very lazy or just want to do something, go check out some of those extensions for your favorite browser. But yeah.
Yeah,
Very good tip.
and it's more than likely that the church that you belong to or your local community food bank or whatever is part of Amazon Smile because they have more than 1 million
Hmm.
public charities that they support and are part of Amazon Smile. I know my church is part of it, and a lot of other people in the area are giving money to their churches through
Very
Amazon.
cool. I didn't even think about that. We are surrounded by trees, so we feel peer pressure to give to the trees. But yeah, churches and
Yeah.
things like that, perfect example. So let's see. So we talked about Amazon Elements, and of course, we talked about the delivery Prime Day. Is there anything that in like 1 minute, Sandy? Is there anything that people should be looking out to really consider purchasing on Amazon Prime? Is it all phone cases once again?
No, they're going to have Amazon Echo products of all sorts, and of course they own Ring doorbells now. So there's a Ring Pro doorbell and a Dot that you can get for $169. There's the Echo Input for $15. Fire TV Recast for 130, which is half price. So they have a lot of information and really good prices on their own products. But go there and set it up on your mobile phone for notifications, so that if you see something you want to wait for, your phone will ring back when it's ready to go on sale. So those are the way to handle it, and have fun shopping.
Absolutely. And everyone, please, if you want to know more, check out CompuKits.com or ComputerAmerica.com for more for Sandy, more for Computer America. And Sandy, I want to say thank you so much. And until next month, I want to say thank you so much for your time.
Okay, great to be here.
Yep, great.
Bye.
Yep, have a good one. Bye-bye. All right, everyone. And there she goes. So obviously, we want to thank her so much for being on the program. And if you would, oh, wow, that got really loud really fast. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning into Computer America. If you want to, hey, anything that we do, ComputerAmerica.com. Have a great day. Be good. Be safe. Catch us here tomorrow, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. Computer America, we're feeling better. We're doing better. Everyone, hey, happy that you could join us. Bye-bye.